Let me ask you something. Has anyone ever looked at you, and without you saying a single word, they suddenly act different? Maybe they shift in their chair. Maybe they laugh nervously. Maybe they start talking more than usual, like they're trying to fill the silence you left hanging in the air. It's strange, isn't it? You didn't glare at them. You didn't puff your chest. You didn't even try to intimidate them. And yet, something about you, your silence, your presence, unsettles people. If you've ever felt that, lean in closer. Because I want to tell you the truth most people never admit. Sigma males intimidate others not by what they do, but by what they don't do. And that, my friend, is where the story gets interesting. 1. The silence that screams louder than noise. Most people underestimate silence. They think silence is emptiness, but silence is power. And when you, as a Sigma, embrace it, it unsettles people in ways they can't put into words. Think about it. Society is built on chatter. Small talk, polite lies, filler noise. People shake hands, laugh at things they don't find funny, nod when they don't agree, all to avoid the awkward truth of stillness. And then you show up. You don't play the game. You don't rush to fill the gaps. You sit back, watch, wait, and that terrifies them. Because silence doesn't just exist. Silence reflects. And when you refuse to perform, the spotlight flips onto them. Suddenly they're hyper-aware of their own insecurities. They ask themselves, why am I talking so much? Do I sound stupid? Why isn't he reacting? That's why people over-explain around you. That's why coworkers ramble when you simply nod. It's not you being awkward. It's them battling their own self-consciousness. Let me tell you a quick story. I once sat across from a guy at a coffee shop. He knew me, but not well. I said almost nothing, just listened. Within 15 minutes, he confessed things about his life that even his closest friends didn't know. Why? Because the silence created a pressure he couldn't escape. He mistook my stillness for safety, and in a way, it was. But it also revealed something darker. How unprepared most people are to face themselves without distraction. And this leads us to something even deeper. Why people can't read you, and why that terrifies them even more. 2. The unreadable mask of the lone wolf. Humans are addicted to predictability. We scan faces, tones, and gestures to measure whether someone is friend or foe. We crave certainty. But Sigmas, you are not predictable. You don't wear your emotions like neon signs. You're not a book people can skim in one glance. And that unreadability, that's intimidating as hell. Imagine a poker game. Who scares you more? The loudmouth slamming chips on the table, or the guy who leans back, calm, unreadable, giving nothing away? The second one, right? Because you can't control what you can't predict. And that's exactly the vibe Sigmas give off in every room they walk into. People crave labels. They want to box you as funny, shy, arrogant, or chill. But when you refuse to fit any box, when you just exist outside their categories, they panic. They whisper, why doesn't he talk much? Is he judging me? What's he hiding? They're not scared of you. They're scared of the unknown inside you. And here's the kicker. You don't even try to create this aura. You're just being yourself. Private, thoughtful, detached. But the world reads it as mystery. And mystery has always been the greatest trigger of fear and fascination. But let's go further. Because intimidation isn't just about silence or unreadability. It's also about independence. And that, my friend, is where the real storm begins. Independence is the real threat. Here's the raw truth. Nothing intimidates people more than someone they cannot control. And Sigmas, you are built on independence. You don't chase validation. You don't cling to approval. You don't beg to belong. You walk your path, whether anyone follows or not. And that terrifies people who've spent their whole lives chained to groupthink. I once heard someone say, the strongest man in the room is the one who doesn't need the room at all. And that perfectly sums up Sigma energy. Your independence forces people to question their own dependence. Why do I need people to like me? Why can't I be okay alone? Why do I feel worthless without attention? They don't like asking those questions. So instead they project. They call you cold, arrogant, too distant. But in truth, they're just scared. Scared that your freedom exposes their chains. Now here's the painful part. Independence attracts envy. Friends can turn bitter. Partners can grow insecure. Even family members may resent the fact that you don't need them in the way they expect. And that resentment often disguises itself as hostility. Which brings us to the darkest part of Sigma intimidation. Loneliness. 4. The lonely cost of being intimidating. Here's what nobody tells you about carrying this intimidating aura. It isolates you. People admire you from a distance but hesitate to get close. They mistake your independence for rejection. They assume your silence means judgment. And slowly the crowd thins. At first you might not notice. You might even enjoy the quiet. But over time you feel it. The weight of being misunderstood. The sting of people walking away, not because you pushed them, but because they couldn't handle standing near you. It's like being the wolf on the hill. Powerful, untouchable, but alone. And here's the vulnerability most Sigmas never admit out loud. It hurts. It hurts when friends drift away because they couldn't figure you out. It hurts when partners accuse you of being too distant, when in truth, you were just being authentic. It hurts when your presence, something you never tried to weaponize, becomes the very reason people leave. But here's the light in the dark. Intimidation filters. The ones who walk away. They were never built to handle you. The ones who stay, those rare few, they see past the silence, past the aura, past the myth, and they get you. And those are the people worth keeping. 5. Turning intimidation into power. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Intimidation isn't something you get rid of. It's something you learn to use. Most people see your aura as a wall, but in reality it's a doorway. The question is, what will you lead people to when they step through? When you walk into a room, people notice. They might not admit it, but their energy shifts. And in that moment, you have two choices. You can let their discomfort push them further away, or you can use that attention to anchor something real. Think of it like this. A wolf doesn't howl to scare the forest. It howls to guide its pack. Your silence, your independence, your unshakable presence. They can either isolate you, or they can inspire the right people to rise. The difference lies in intention. If you treat your aura like a weapon, it creates enemies. But if you treat it like a beacon, it attracts allies who value authenticity over performance. And here's the beauty of it. You don't have to change who you are. You don't need to force smiles, fake laughs, or soften your edges. You just need to channel your presence with purpose. Speak less, but speak truth. Stand firm, but stand for something. Do this and your intimidation transforms. Suddenly people don't just fear you, they respect you. They don't just whisper about you, they look up to you. And in a world full of noise, you become the rare signal everyone listens for. Because in the end, intimidation isn't your weakness. It's your gravity. The right ones will always find their way into your orbit. So here's the bottom line. If people call you intimidating, wear it with pride. Because what they really mean is, I can't control you. That's not a weakness. That's your strength. And in a world where everyone is begging to be liked, your silence speaks louder than noise. If this message hit you, then stay. Subscribe. Not for me, but for yourself. Because this is where lone wolves gather. This is where silence becomes strength. Until next time, remember, you don't need to prove anything. Walk silent, walk strong, and let the world adjust to your presence.